Hello, my name is Tish. I haven't been on here in quite a while. So today I have this lovely gentleman here with me. Since I haven't been on here in a while, and honestly it's been really hard for me to even come and do another video, I have my brother with me.
Favorite brother.
My only brother.
Favorite brother, all the same.
My only brother. This is Darrell. Of course, my sister and I referred to him as DJ, which nobody else is allowed to do that. Just saying.
You gotta become family in order to use the DJ thing. And that doesn't seem to be working out very well here lately, so good luck.
He's single, just saying. But you gotta be a good person. So we've been having a hard time finding that. So anyway, we are coming to you together today because I have shared quite a bit of my story. I still have quite a bit to go. I seem to get to that same spot in my story and then I just kind of stop. But so my brother is going to share his story with you up until about the same point where I stopped. And then we're going to share together kind of where our story has gone since then and where we are today. And then we're just going to kind of chat with you. So anyway, let's get into it.
Alright, so starting out, it was pretty much the same. With the abuse, the physical abuse, the sexual abuse, it was kind of like the opposite sex was the molester and the same sex was the physical abuser, although that was not a rule. I definitely got both from both. You know what I mean?
So
the evil stepmother was more of the molester, but I was still molested by my dad, and my dad was more of the physical abuser, but I was beaten by a time or two also. By the evil stepmother. I was also beaten by the evil stepmother a time or two.
We'll cut that out.
Hang with us, we'll get this. And we're actually going to be working on starting up a little project together of podcasting and YouTube channel and talking to people about trauma and putting some positive hope vibes out there. So bear with us. This is our first duo.
Yeah.
I remember at 4 or 5 years old, the evil stepmother would walk me to school, and like halfway to school, we'd have to turn around, and she'd take me back to the kitchen, strip me naked, have me fondling myself or whatever, taking pictures, and then interacting with me. So I remember more sexual abuse from her than my dad, but there was plenty of sexual abuse from my dad also, but my dad was more of the physical aggressor for me, and mental.
He beat the hell out of me too. So.
And mental, in that same house at that same time, there was nights when I would get handcuffed to a bed because I was accused of masturbating at 4 and 5 years old. They put socks on my hands and handcuffed me up to the bed, and I'd wake up in the middle of the night getting yelled at, accused that I picked the lock of the handcuffs because my hands were free. Obviously, we know what happened there. I wasn't a Houdini prodigy, it was just part of the mental torture. And then I remember a couple times when he marched me downstairs, and I don't know if it had to do with the handcuffs or it was different, but he'd make me kneel down in front of the coffee table and tell me to put my genitals on the coffee table, and he getting a butcher knife threatening to chop it off, and at that time I didn't know what it even did. I peed, but it was scarier than it was scary, Like I didn't want it chopped off. I didn't know why, but I liked it being attached. um, so I mean, there's times like that. The times when we would do like roadside flea marketing or at the flea market, and then we take turns going home to get showered because we were going to go out to buffet, and then it's kind of like whoever he wanted to play with was the one that went home with him to get showered. And just stuff like that. And there's a lot of it throughout the years. I just kind of go over it briefly, so it's kind of, you can give an idea of what the situation was like, what life was like, but without trying to get into trading war stories and stuff, because it's not about necessarily who went through what, like who went through how much and more, because it affects you all the same. So the point of talking about it and the point of telling our stories and stuff is that way anybody that goes through something, no matter the magnitude, no matter the frequency, no matter, it's still relatable to them. Right. So anything that we've done to get where we're at or where we're going is just as useful to somebody else, and anything they do is absolutely useful to us. So if we start sharing things and we start talking about it, you remove the stigma from it, first of all. We were led to believe back in the day that it was very uncommon. And if you do some research now, it won't take much and you'll find out it's more common than not. Yeah. So like we need to get this information out. We need to be able to talk to people so that we can kind of start healing collectively.
And break the cycle.
And so once Tisha ran away at 13, it wasn't long after that, because she got back to Arizona and made sure people knew. So it was like the next time my sister and I went back to Arizona, we didn't go back. We didn't go back to West Virginia. And then that's kind of where our stories start to separate. Yeah. Tisha was starting to be in the group homes and stuff like that. I was with my mom briefly, and then she put me and my other sister in a group home. And I'm not gonna talk about the other sister a whole lot, because that's her. Yeah, that's her story. Like I'll just say we were in the group home together, and then stayed there a couple years, and then once she left, I started acting up, which this group home was good for me as far as like role models and stuff, and the type of life. Like it was a small country town, so it was just like country boy stuff. And it was probably good for me, except for half to 3/4 of the time I was there, I was being molested by the church janitor. The group home was part of a church. The pastor that ran the group home was the pastor of the church, and then the janitor used to have me over on the weekends and stuff. And it starts out with the what is it when they're prepping you before they start molesting you? Grooming. Like when it started grooming, it was like buying me little things or making me like lunch for free, because there was a private school we went to at that church, and then he'd make like little grilled cheese sandwiches and stuff that you could buy, that the other kids could buy, and like he'd give me a grilled cheese sandwich or something, like little things and showing attention. And I already came from it. Like I grew up in this for most of my childhood at this point. So the time that I was in that group home from 8 to 11 or 8 to 10, at least a year of it I was being molested by him. And it's like, and when I look back and I have the image of him, and it's like, I don't know how, I don't want to be judgmental, but it just seemed like somebody should have known something. Just how he was, his lack of hygiene, his like, it was weird how much he was allowed to do and to be around and stuff, with all these church kids and stuff. Like it was, I don't know. And I talk about it in my book where it's like he always walked around, like thinking back on this, like 2020 or whatever, like he always walked around with his hands behind his back and stuff like that, and it's like he had something to hide, and that's kind of what I remember of him. And it wasn't even me. After my sister left the home and went to live with my mom, I started acting up because I didn't want to be without my sister. That was the first actual time I had been without either one of my sisters.
No, before you go any further, can I say something? I wanted to, you briefly mentioned the grooming. Now, I know the other day you had mentioned how you can't stand to be tickled. So I wanted to bring that up because grooming is really, it's hard to understand it because people don't realize that it's happening. And so I think you had been groomed prior to that by Dad and you didn't even know it.
Oh.
So, like the tickling thing, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
I was talking to a friend the other day, and I was talking about triggers or something, because I have like bad anxiety sometimes and stuff, and it came up, I was like, and I was talking about, I hate being tickled, and I've never known why, but like if you start to tickle me, I go from 0 to 100 quick, like it's not, oh, that's playful, whatever. No, it's like, I'm pissed off, leave me alone. And I never understood why. Well, I was having this conversation and she was able to overhear it. And that's when she was like, well, this is how it started with me and Dad. So, and you know, if it worked with one, he probably carried it on with the other. I don't remember because I was too young. I didn't start remembering stuff until probably 3 or 4 years old or whatever, so who knows how long it had happened up to that point. I mean, and then and you'll see as I tell my story that as I went through care, my file followed me, and so it's like people knew why I was in foster care, which then made me a target. Exactly. I feel like it made me a target. I don't know that they had my file, like each person that I was molested by had my file, but I feel like people know about the kids they're taking care of and why they're there. And so I feel like it made me an easy target.
I'm glad you said that because that was something else I wanted to bring up and that slipped my mind. When we were talking about the grooming, I forgot.
About the target?
Yeah, about how the file follows you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's in the file. So, and it makes you a target. Because they know that they can do it. Because it's already
and nobody got in trouble.
Exactly.
All the way through it, every time somebody was added to my file, nobody had ever gotten in trouble. So it was like, well, obviously, he's a good target. Like, there was nothing to risk, nothing to lose. Yeah. So once I left that home, not long after, like within a couple of weeks, they came to Tucson to ask me because apparently he had been doing it to other kids. So they came and asked me about it, and I told them no. Like I denied all of it. It was kind of mixed emotions. Like I didn't want him to get in trouble. Of all things, I didn't want him to get in trouble. And then it's just like kind of embarrassed, but it wasn't actual embarrassment. It was, I don't even know how to describe it.
Well, when I ran away from home from Dad, I didn't run away because he was abusing me. I ran away because I was afraid he was going to kill me. And then the only thing that got me out of the house was I had to tell them that he was sexually abusing me. That was the only thing that got me removed. But I didn't want him to get in trouble. That wasn't the thing. So, but then I was also worried about you guys, so that was why I ended up telling.
And of all things, like, we don't want them to get in trouble. And you'll see when we mesh here after a little bit, and we talk about where we're at now, you'll see how
Yeah.
we care about other people more than we should. And we always look out for other people far more than we should and far more than we do for ourselves. So when we get to that, you'll kind of see what the lasting effects of trauma. So they came and asked me, and I denied it and everything, but he ended up going to jail. So he actually got in trouble. It just wasn't for me. And from I heard years later he died in jail and whatnot, and good riddance, whatever. But at that point, I had went back to my mom, and I had an altercation with my mom. My grandfather had given me this 3-in-1 phone. It was like a phone, a radio, a clock, and my grandfather was always such a huge part of my life, even when I wasn't with him. Like even now, like my grandfather was always my
rock.
And I get so upset talking about him. So needless to say, it was very important to me, and she tried to take it from me and ground me because I was probably acting fool, because at that point I was already 11 years into trauma, so I'm sure I was probably a bit off my rails or whatever. And I ended up getting physically violent with her, and she sent me back to my dad. She actually called him and said, "Look, he's going to the airport. Be there or don't." And that was that. And my grandfather took me to the airport, and that was pretty much the last dealings that I had with my mom through the rest of my childhood. I may have seen her, but you'll see here in a minute. It's kind of messed up how this happened. I went to my dad, and I was there for 2 weeks, and I'm gonna tell you what. So by that time, I left at 7 or 8, and at this time I was 11 because I was in 6th grade. Those 2 weeks, I still remember them. Those two, I've never been so scared in my life than I was in those 2 weeks that I was there. Always on edge. I didn't want to, I was scared to go in the bathroom and take a bath, take a shower, anything. I still vividly remembered everything we went through. If he started getting angry or raised his voice, I would hide under my bed. It was, I've never been scared of anything like that in my life. And I remember it. So my angel right here, called DSS or DHS or whatever it is back there. And at this time it was in Maryland. She sent me back to Maryland. And that's where my dad was. She got a hold of social services.
No, and I was locked up.
Yeah, she was already locked up by this point. She called social services. They came to my school, talked to me for a little bit, and pulled me right then. There was no going home. There was no investigation as far as I'm sure they investigated it, just with me gone. And that's when I was awarded to the state of Maryland. So my whole family was in Arizona, except for her. And I got awarded to the state of Maryland and stayed in foster care for the rest of my childhood in Maryland. And there was only one time in all of that time from 11 to 18, there was only one time that I got to come back to Arizona and see my grandfather. And we ended up taking a road trip back, and it was pretty cool. But, so at this point, I go into foster care, and my file is building up. And it kind of continued. How far do you want me to go?
However far you want to go.
I'll go to 18, and then we'll start. Because that gets me out of the system.
Okay.
So I started bouncing. My first foster home actually went pretty good for the first year or two. super nice people and stuff, and I ended up getting kicked out of that home for calling the guy a son of a bitch. I called him a son of a bitch and I got kicked out. Like, he grabbed me up by the neck up against the door and everything, and that was that. And then from there, I really started bouncing. Hancock, I was in a group home in Hancock where I was being molested by some kids. And if I remember correctly, it was actually the house parents' kids. Like the foster parent, their biological kids that were kind of messing with me and one of the other kids. But I wasn't there very long, so it wasn't like it was super intense. But it was just another kind of nail in the coffin. And then at 13, I was in another group home in Williamsport, and the house parent was molesting me, more like fondling and stuff like that. It wasn't like super, like, not that there's degrees of it, because I mean, wrong is wrong. But it was like fondling and touching and stuff like that. And he ended up, so at this point, I still didn't have a voice. Like, I was still super in my shell, super scared of the world, pretty much, which that has lasting effects too, we'll see. So what I did, I had my roommate, we were super tight. We were 4 days apart. He was 4 days older than me, and he was like my big brother. But I had talked to him about it. He stayed up one night to be a witness to it, and then we went down to the office, and he actually helped me tell, because I probably wouldn't have done it on my own. So that guy ended up getting fired, and that was that. Like, there's no charges. They wrote up a little column in the paper about it, but that was the last time I was molested at 13. And then I ended up in a psych ward after that. I went to a psych ward a couple times briefly before that, but it was only like 2 weeks at a time, because they were like adjusting meds, because I was so drugged up all the time. So my first real stint of the psych ward happened after being molested that last time, and I did like 6 months, and I was like super suicidal, super aggressive, angry, and like I wouldn't stand up for myself or whatever, but it's like if that switch flips, like I don't care. Like, I was violent and I'd hurt everybody, and then when I calmed down, I felt terrible. So I was in the hospital. I spent quite a lot of time in locked door seclusion and strapped down to the bed and needles in my butt, and it was quite the adventure. And then when I got out of there, I went back into a regular foster home, and that's when I started on drugs. I started self-medicating, and I was still suicidal and stuff at that point, and I started on a particular drug, and I just remember being at peace. Like, I never felt so at peace, and like I was just, everything was so calm, everything was, I don't know, and I swear, for a little bit in there, and I hate saying this because I don't want to give people the wrong impression, but I swear it probably saved my life. At that time. Because I wasn't doing good at all, and it ended up getting me through high school. But I ended up bouncing around some more. I got kicked out of a lot of places for a lot of stupid reasons. And granted, it doesn't give me, like, my past doesn't give me a right to act like an asshole. I get that. But, like, I do have a problem with people being foster parents, and like, they need to understand these kids are coming to them damaged. Like, you gotta be in it, like, for the right reason. Because If you're not, you're just going to add to the damage. You're going to add to the worthlessness. You're going to add to the, I don't know. It's just not gonna do any good for the kid. But doesn't give me a right to act like an asshole. So I bounced around some more, and finally at like 18, I got kicked out of school again. I was getting kicked out of a group home. I had already been back to the psych ward again for another 6 months. And finally, I just got pissed off. I was so tired of people telling me what to do, so tired of bouncing around. I was fed up, and I kind of screwed myself, and I went and made my social worker, who was absolutely amazing. I couldn't ask for a better social worker. I put it through hell. I went and made her emancipate me. And I gave up free college. I gave up independent living, like help with bills and stuff while I went to college. Like I have a habit of being my own worst enemy a lot in my life. Like it definitely has come back to bite me several times. I'm a stubborn bastard, let me tell you. I get fed up, I'm done. So that gets me out of the system at 18. And then the drugs continued up till a few years ago, off and on. The bouncing around continued. I don't know, like I'm searching for something, and I'm supposed to be searching in here, and I'm searching out here, and I had a conversation the other day where like I've been searching for home my whole life. I've never felt like I'm at home anywhere I've ever been. And right now I'm actually like working in Alaska because I'm like, well, let me go look in Alaska. Because even as a kid, Alaska and Colorado were my dream places to go, my dream places to live as a kid. Never been there or nothing. It was just kind of in my soul that I needed to be in Alaska. So I've been working in Alaska and stuff, and it's like, well, so like I'm learning that I feel like my home is going to be in here, and it's going to be a person. It's going to be, and I don't want to say that like it's a codependent thing. I don't. Bail me out here.
I'm like, you're struggling, aren't you?
I'm struggling, boy. I might have dug me a hole on that one. But my whole life I've always, and this is absolutely, I totally get that this is not healthy. This part of it is not healthy. Like I've always looked for my person. Like I want my forever lady, absolutely. But my whole vision of all these things I want to do, the first one that I wanted on my list, I want my person. I want my person to go and journey through all this stuff with. And that's kind of where I've been screwing up. But I still feel like home for me is not going to be a place. It's going to be people. It's going to be having my person in my life. It's going to be having the right people around me. It's going to be a community. Not necessarily a state, not necessarily, so.
No, I agree with that. I feel my best when I'm out helping people.
Absolutely.
So I can totally understand that. So you and I have been talking about this a lot.
Which part?
Self-worth.
Oh.
Self-worth is such a difficult thing to find when you have been through the things that we have been through, because people have gone to great lengths to destroy that.
And the people that we have in our lives sometimes these days don't understand. They don't take into account how trained we were to not have it.
Exactly.
It's not like we can wake up in one day, look in the mirror, and be like, oh, I'm a bad at. Like, I know I'm an awesome guy. For real. Look, she laughing at me. We're talking about self-worth. She wonder why I ain't got none. She laughing at me right now. Ain't no wonder I ain't got none.
That's not what I mean.
Uh-huh.
No, I mean, okay, like you can look in the mirror and it's, okay, the self-worth that I want for you is for you to be able to look in the mirror and know that you truly are a great guy.
But I know that.
Not look in the mirror and physically look and say,
I'm not
hey,
saying physical.
man, I am a great guy.
That's
no.
I'm not conceited, I promise.
You are a great guy.
And I know that.
Like down to your core, you are a great guy.
I know that.
Then don't accept anything less.
It's not a matter of accept. It's a matter of it. That doesn't mean anything anymore.
It does.
It doesn't. That's not what people want.
To the right person, it does. You just are in such a hurry.
I'm not in a hurry. How many? I'm 46 years old. Like, how long do I gotta wait?
Know how old you are?
How much longer? You know what I mean?
You just have
like,
a birthday, so.
It's not that I'm in a hurry. It's just like.
Sometimes it takes a while. I mean, but if you look at, okay, it's almost like, okay, I went to prison and I did 10.5 years. So that put my life on hold. Like physically put my life on hold. But if you look at all the stuff that we went through, that also physically puts your life, well, emotionally.
It stunts your growth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it takes us so long to get beyond that before we can be who we're meant to be.
Like, I've explained that to people.
And I am 52 years old and I am just now getting to the understanding of who I really am. So I've wasted all this time in these bad relationships, and I am just now getting to the point to where I know who I am.
And I've explained this to people. Yeah. Like, I was in my 20s and I was still a teenager.
Right.
I was in my 30s and I might have been 21, maybe.
Yeah.
Right now I'm 46 and I'm just now maybe 30. Yeah. Like, I get that.
I mean, yeah, it's really hard to come beyond that, to get beyond it.
Like, I'm finally adulting. Like, I'm actually adulting the right way now.
Yeah.
So, like.
You're almost 50, so yeah, it's about time.
Well, they do say guys mature later than women, so I'm right on par for the course.
Gosh. I don't know, I just, yeah, anyway, self-worth.
So, I mean, you have people that have absolutely destroyed.
Yes.
And I've been doing a lot of listening to videos and a lot of, like it's, like I've got totes of books I want to read to try to fix it and stuff, because it's like I know I'm an awesome guy. I have like the biggest heart in the world.
Yes, you do.
I know I'm an awesome guy.
Yes.
But my self-worth and my self-esteem is like this big.
Yeah. And confidence.
I don't even know how to spell that word.
You know, it's funny. I don't know if, I think you and I have talked about, of course we talk about everything, but
we're Twinkies, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, we're the same person.
Yeah, exactly. But like, confidence for me, when I'm doing something for somebody else, my confidence is through the roof. But if I'm trying to do something for myself, I don't have any. So is it like that for you?
But I feel like if it was like that for me, then I'd be doing my speaking stuff, because that would be for other people. Right. I'd be doing my group home stuff because that's for kids. So I feel like that we might be different on that.
You think so? Because I know, like, when I was doing the coffee on the street, when I'm out there trying to save somebody else's life, I had no problem talking to people. Like, my heart still beats like I'm going to have a freaking heart attack when I was talking to people. but I could do it. But for me to just like walk up to a random group of people and start talking, yeah, that's no.
Yeah, I'm terrible with social anxiety, and I'm an introvert anyway. I
I'm
don't
not as
do
bad
it.
as I used to be, but I think I'm starting to come out of it because of the coffee thing.
I know I am. Like, just, I was having a conversation the other day about how things seem like they're finally falling into place for me. Like, things are, like, just a year and a half ago, I was sitting in the office at my job in the middle of the night crying, wishing I could die. It's been hell for a long, long time. Self-imposed hell, granted, but that doesn't make it any easier to get out of.
What was it? Self-esteem, confidence,
So, and
self-worth.
for years, ever since I was a kid, like, I've wanted to, and literally a kid, I was probably 16, 18 years old, and my big dream was to open up like a youth ranch or a group home for abused kids, and that's all I've wanted to do my whole life. And then when I was getting out of one of my relapses and stuff, I started listening to a lot of motivational speaking, and I was getting out of my dark holes, like, especially after Grandpa died.
Yeah.
I got pretty depressed, and then it took like E.T. and Les Brown and all them, and when I started listening to them, the effect they had on me, it was like I could do that for kids because of our background, because of our past. But and I've invested quite a bit into learning the speaking business, but I haven't made a step on stage because, like, with our backgrounds, there's a lot of good we could do for kids out there dealing with this stuff, or even adults that are still trying to figure out how to heal.
Yeah.
And it's the confidence that kicks my ass every time. Like, and a lot of it, it's like I don't know what my message is. A lot of times I don't feel like I did anything. All I did was not kill myself. So I don't feel like I get to take credit for being okay.
That is a major accomplishment because there are so many points in our life where we could have done that and nobody could have blamed us for it. Like, everybody would have understood because of the things that we have been through and how much that just beats the shit out of you. Like, but we chose not to. Now, I don't know if you want to get into like that really deep subject that we were talking about the other day. Maybe we'll hold off on that one.
It don't bother me none.
But like, there's so much stigma that comes with being a victim of abuse. Okay, when I was going to therapy, because I've been in therapy the majority of my life, off and on, but the one thing they tell you is most abusers have been abused. Okay, so when you're a victim and you're being told that at 13, you're like, oh my God, am I going to be an abuser? What they don't tell you is, no, you're not.
You have a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice.
A lot of people want you to believe that it's not a choice.
Exactly.
It's a disease.
And it is not a disease.
It's a choice. I don't care what
it
anybody
is a choice. Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so when I was told that at 13, I grew up scared to death that I was going to become an abuser. So like, when I remember when our sister had kids, can you delete that? But anyway, when our sister had kids, I did not expect her to allow me to be around the kids because I figured she thought that I would hurt the kids. Because, you know, what Dad did, well, that means I'm going to do it, right?
I've had people that wouldn't date me because of my background, because of my past.
Right. So I was really, really scared to be around her kids. Thinking, because that's what the shrink told me.
You didn't know what was going to trigger you to turn into him.
Exactly. So I was terrified. I could not imagine me ever hurting someone the way that I had been hurt. But the fear was there. So then, when I got older, when I got out of prison, well, I got married, got out of prison, had children of my own. Okay, my firstborn, my oldest. As soon as I became a mother, I started having night terrors that somebody was raping my children. So I slept with a knife under my pillow. And I know that I transferred the anxiety and that fear that I was having to my son because of the way just some of the fear and anxiety that he has. I can see it. I know that I did that to him and I feel terrible. But like those terrors were like, I can't even describe it. It was so real, and it was nightly. Like nightly, I'm seeing my children being raped, and there's nothing I can do about it. But, and I still had that playing over and over and over in my mind. Well, I was abused means I'm going to be an abuser. And I swore I would never touch my children. Okay, my children are now 23 and 25. I have never touched my kids. Never. But does that mean that the thought has never crossed my mind? Absolutely not. It has crossed my mind. Because of the way that we were raised, those thoughts are there, but that doesn't mean we act on them. We make a conscious decision every single day to do the right thing. And that's what we do. We do the right thing. And I pray every time, even a very small thought crosses my mind, I pray about it. Like, no, that is absolutely disgusting. You know, devil be gone, take that thought from me. There's no way in hell that's ever going to happen. Not happening. And I've done that for 23 plus years. Because I can't do that. Could you imagine ever putting that on somebody? Because we know what it's like. It was put on us.
I'm not as terrified as you are of becoming it, but I still fear that it's like embedded in me or something.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in a store and there's a cute female or something and I'm like checking her out and she turns around, she's like 16, I'm like, cut that off right there. Like,
yeah.
Get that shit out of my head. I don't want to open up any Pandora's box or something. Like, it's just, you don't know. Like, you're taught that it's wired in them. They can't help themselves.
Yeah.
But
And
it's like you don't know what's
true.
going to open it. So
Yeah. It's not true. Yeah.
I feel like it was absolutely a choice.
Yeah. So do I.
I feel like every single person that touched me, it was a calculated choice. Because many of them knew what I came from and targeted me. So don't tell me that they just had to do it when they put in so much prep and yeah, it's a choice. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, 100%. That one was a pretty deep one for me. That's not something that I like to openly talk about. That one's tough.
It is, because you're going to have how many people watch their video and they're going to make some sort of
disgusting remark
or an opinion or judgment or something, and it's like, and really honestly I don't give a shit who says what, who thinks what, because there's a lot of people out there that struggle with the same things, and those are the people I care to reach. I don't have time for somebody to start getting on comments and, you know what I mean?
True.
Like, take that shit somewhere else. We got stuff to do. We got people to help. We got, you know what I mean? Like, can you delete comments off if they leave comments?
Well, you can just turn them off.
That person?
I think you can block them or something.
Oh, well, even that's still putting too much energy into it. Like,
Yeah.
people are going, you know, there's people miserable sitting in a room somewhere and they want to troll somebody. Like, everybody's got them, and it is what it is. It's the people that can help by listening to this music video that I give a shit about.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the reason why it was so important to bring that up is because, like, when we were talking the other day, that's not something that people talk about, but how many people actually deal with that? Because that's not something that I would have ever talked about, but yet that's something I've been dealing with for, how old am I? I've been dealing with it for damn near 40 years. Next year I'll make 40 years. because I was 13 when I ran away, and I'll be 53 next year.
And that's part of what's wrong with the world is we're not talking about these things. We're not giving a voice to it to where we could start. People are holding it in and then they're falling victim to it, or they're not getting the help they need because they're
So
stigmatized. They're
They're
stigmatized and they don't want to go. You know what I'm saying? If you remove the stigma from a lot of stuff, there a lot of healing would take place.
Yeah.
Get rid of the judgment. Get rid of it's living a facade doesn't get you anywhere.
You know, it's kind of like today's society, how you'll see somebody get hurt, and rather than to offer a helping hand, everybody wants to pull out their phones and start videoing. You know, what the hell is going on? Because back in our day, if somebody got hurt, we helped them. You know, nobody was worried about, oh, let me go run and tell the neighbors. No, we just helped them.
Well, we didn't have cell phones back
I
then.
mean, but we weren't trying to run around and get attention and show people. We just.
It seems like there's a lot of superficialness to life now, and it's
there's no depth.
And we're not going to get anywhere like that.
No.
So one of the common effects of trauma, terrible mental health.
Oh yeah.
Plus, we got it in our DNA because both of our people were off their rockers. You know what I mean? So we hit the lottery with mental health genes, and it's not the good lottery.
No.
Like we got check marks on everything that could be wrong.
Depression, check. Anxiety, check.
Yeah. We got it all. We doing good. We overachieving over here. So, and the stigma comes, and like we were saying, like we can't talk about anything or whatever. And there's a lot of trauma in the world, and there's a lot of people carrying it on their shoulders, and they're trying to just be okay. And it's like, we're not getting anywhere by not talking about it. We're not. I can tell you, I've been suicidal a lot in my life, and we've had the conversation where it's like, even now, like lately I've been decent, but not long ago, like in the last year or two, I had a 6-month period where I was crying every night, begging the universe to let me die. Because I hate my life, right? I want to be helping people. And I go and bust my ass 100 hours a week in the oil field, and it's not fulfilling at all. Like, I make good money, and I'm miserable. I am miserable because I'm not doing anything to help anybody. So, and we've talked about, and it's not even depression. It's tired. We're tired. We're so freaking tired of fighting. Everything we do is a fight. Yeah. Everything. Like, we have to fight every day to just get through the freaking day, and you just get so tired of fighting. And I know there's got to be a lot of that out there. Yeah. And it's like, if we can just get up and keep going, and that's part of like what I figured out my new message is, like, to go and speak and stuff. It's hope. Like, if we stay and we keep pushing through and stuff, that gives somebody else hope to be able to do theirs, and the next person, and the next person, you know? So I think that's going to be my biggest message, is just, I've been through this, and this. I've done this, and this, and I'm okay.
Or we're working on being okay. We've made it this far.
It's good. It's getting better. I mean, the last. I mean, things. I feel like things are falling together for me really, really good at this point, and it's so funny. Like, even little things, and I'm super into angel numbers, and I get them all the time, and it's just like, and it's been like the last 3 or 4 years. I get them multiple times a day, every day, and it's so much that I get annoyed with it sometimes. And don't stop, don't stop. Trust me. I get so annoyed with it because like, what are you trying to tell me? Where do you want me? What am I supposed to be doing? But then on the other hand, I'm like, my angels are with me, my guides are with me, and y'all. People can say I'm crazy, whatever. You're not wrong, but I mean, let's be honest. You're not wrong, but it's like.
Yeah, I'm starting to get jealous of angel numbers now.
I thought you got them too.
Well, I do sometimes, but not very often. But I get animals.
No.
I get like butterflies and hummingbirds and different
And
things.
anytime y'all think I'm crazy, somebody's got 13 cats.
I have 9. There's a difference.
9 cats.
What?
I'm starting to look real good now, ain't I? That's my sister. I love her.
So rude.
I love her. She's done a lot for me in my life, so.
Yeah, you've done a lot for me too. Jeez.
So I feel like, and we've been talking the last few months about starting a podcast and a YouTube channel about doing this, but having other people on, like trauma survivors or even like mental health professionals, that we can pick a topic and we can like show how to heal, or show people that do heal, to where we can show that hope, and we can spread that hope so people do stay, people do decide to show up in their lives and show up to heal their trauma. And I feel like that's the best thing we can do as survivors. And I feel like that's where our most fulfillment would come, and I think that's where my life needs to head. And it's like, as soon as I step back from focusing on the 6-figure income in the oil field where I'm miserable, and maybe not make the 6 figures, but do something absolutely fulfilling, I think the rest of my life is going to fall together very, very rapidly. So we're going to start doing this, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Keep hope alive.
But we're not going to do the superficial topics that everybody's doing. We're doing the in-depth,
And it's not going to be.
knowledge.
I did an interview, and I interviewed like an hour and a half for that interview, and they chopped it into like an 18-minute video, and it was
That's
like
awful.
it chop, and then they cut out all the positive stuff at the end.
Yeah.
So right then and there, I was like, I can do this better. So what we want to do is maybe the first 15 minutes of the video, they can talk about the trauma, but then the 45 minutes, the meat of the video, we want to talk about the healing. We want to talk about the hope. We want to talk about the steps taken. You know, I believe that's going to be one of our biggest contributions to society. So if you all want to see us together some more, let us know.
Oh.
I forgot about it.
So this is my brother's book. I'm not sure. Well, I guess I should not cover up his name. But and you'll have to tell them where they can order it from.
It's on Amazon. If you search my name on Amazon or search the book.
So
But that gives more details, more in depth or whatever, and a lot more of the lessons of my life, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and it's a really, honestly, I actually did read it, and it's a really good book. So.
And again, so the confidence that we were discussing,
Yeah.
I put it on Amazon. I have yet to advertise it because I don't have the confidence in it.
Yeah. He didn't even have one in here. I just sent him out to his truck to get one, so that we could put it, so that I could show it to you guys. But honestly, so I know my brother's story. Obviously, he's my brother, but I didn't know my brother's story. If
I
you
don't
get what
know.
I'm saying.
I think we need a DNA test. I don't know.
Seriously.
No? Okay. I'm her brother.
Anyway, so like I was saying, like I know my brother's story because I was there for like
And
some
even,
of it.
even when I was in foster care, we still came and saw you. So like
Yeah.
you were checked in throughout my life.
Yeah, but I didn't know like the in-depth details of his story. So when I read the book is kind of when I found out. When I read the book, and then he did a couple videos for other YouTube channels, which I'm pretty sure I put them on this channel so that they're on there. I mean, you guys can watch them, but that's kind of when I found out what he went through as far as like in-depth stuff. But so that was when, because up until that point I had been speaking to our dad off and on, not like regular, but
Got that right. All right. Rest your hands.
but anyway, I had been speaking to him off and on, but I think it was when I found out what really happened to you that gave me the strength to finally say, you know what, screw him, I don't need him. Because it's not, I don't know how to describe it. It's not because of what he did to you, it's because he did it. Because, like I was trying to explain the other day, when I was with Dad and he was doing that stuff to me, I was in survival mode. So I went along with it. I really did not have a choice, obviously. I was 6.5, 7 years old when he started. But anyway, and then when you guys came out there, in my mind, my reasoning was, okay, I will let him do this to me, and he'll leave you guys alone. But then I found out that he didn't leave you guys alone. So it was almost like I sacrificed myself for nothing. Not that I could have stopped it. Again, I was a child. But that was the reasoning in my mind. So then after hearing kind of in detail what you went through, because like I said, I knew some of it. Some of it I kind of blocked it out, I think, because I just could not deal with it. That's when I was just like, you know, why am I being the bigger person here? I can forgive and not have that relationship.
I talk about the forgiving him in the book. It was quite the experience when I let it go.
Yeah.
And we did that for ourselves because he damn sure hasn't earned it. He won't even admit to it.
Yeah, he still won't admit to it. Or if he does, it's because he knows nobody's around to hear it, so it's just to us. My thing is you can't make a sincere apology without taking responsibility, and he's never done that. And to me, taking responsibility is saying, yeah, I did it.
Absolutely.
Regardless of who's around. And he's never done that. So.
And he was petrified when I was releasing the book.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, he was telling me he was going to kill himself and want me to call you and have you not do it.
And some people, and the way we were trained, all them years, I shouldn't have released it because we would have been taking care of him instead of taking care of us, right? But that's his fault.
Yeah,
this is my story. I can do what I want with it.
Exactly.
Just because he didn't show up the right way in my story, that's not on me. That's on him.
Exactly.
That's shit he's got to deal with.
No.
There's something you touched on.
Agree.
There's something you touched on that I forgot about. The survival mode.
Yeah.
I've been in survival mode my whole life, and I'm trying so hard to get into that thrive mode. and I feel like I'm right on the edge, right? And I'm learning to lighten up, and I'm learning to have fun and enjoy life, and I don't have to work 100 hours a week for 20 years on it, you know, like I have been. But it's so hard to get out of survival mode.
Yes, it is.
It's like, anybody has some information on that, I need that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
but I'm getting better. Like it's so I definitely think that's another thing we need to talk about on the channel is steps for like rewiring and
I still have quite a bit of rewiring I need to do.
and I was talking to somebody the other day and told them it's probably I'm probably going to be working on me for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like this is not going to be like I can get real serious about it for a year and then I'm healed. Like this is
Yeah, no.
it's a lifelong process to undo everything that we went through. But then there's a lot of good we can do with it along the way. We don't have to wait till we get to the end and have all the answers.
I think that the biggest thing that you accomplish when you're sharing your story is to let people know that they aren't alone.
Absolutely.
Because when you're going through it, you feel like you are the only person in the world. Like there's nobody there for you. And that is just not the case. There are so many people. So, I mean, I know for me, I just felt like I was completely alone. Like there's no way people couldn't have known what was going on. And yet nobody did anything to try to help.
Especially back then.
Yeah.
Especially back then.
So, one, even nowadays, I still struggle with that, where I just feel like I'm completely alone.
I struggle quite a bit with that. It's kind of where I'm at. Like, I want to live my life with someone, and it's not that I need them. I want to share my life with someone. I want to make moments with someone. I want to grow with someone. And my anxious attachment, another result of the trauma, I'm an anxious attachment. So, like, if it's not the right response or something, I feel like I have to try harder and do more and give and give and give and give, and I give so much and I get nothing back. And it seems like I always end up with those people like I need to save everybody or something. But I've been so alone lately that, like, I mean, it's just like I'll sit and cry because it's like I go to work and then I go to my room and people, it frustrates me because people tell you, oh, you gotta get comfortable with being alone and it's okay being alone, and then they go home to their families, they go home to their kids, they go home to their husband, they go home, you know, and it's like, they don't understand. I go home to nobody. I go to a room in a man camp. Like, I don't talk to people for weeks at a time. Like, when I say alone, I mean alone. And it's the same inside your head.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I go home to my family, but yeah, it's my head.
But yeah, you got a lot going on up there. I think we both do.
Yeah.
I'm always running through 1,000 things in my head. Always.
Yeah.
But the anxious attachment tends to run people off real quick. And I've really been working on it, and I've really been doing a lot of research, and I've really pulled it. I've kind of choked back on it, and I've been learning a lot about it. And so maybe I won't be alone forever.
I don't think you're going to be alone forever. I think you just need to pace yourself.
For what?
You know what I mean. say it.
Be blunt. If nothing else, we are going to be blunt on this channel. So if you're sensitive, and look, I'm allowed to talk about sensitive because I'm super sensitive. I'm like Mr. Rom-com, cry with the movie type, cry during a commercial. So I'm allowed to say sensitive.
Now I cry on commercials.
You know what I mean? So if you're sensitive, you're going to have to.
On that though, the boys will sit down and watch something with me, and they know that like if it's like a teary jerky thing, they stop watching it and start watching me because they're just waiting for the tears to start falling so they can laugh at me.
Kids are.
I know. they do that to me all the time, but
So just be blunt. It doesn't do any good to hold things back from people. I'll tell you that much.
It's to me, okay, I understand that like, okay, I have not read up on this anxious attachment thing. To me, when you were talking about the stuff that you're going through, that was called obsessive thinking back in the day because they put me on medication for it and did nothing. But it was like, okay, say I had a conversation with somebody and I felt like I didn't say something the exact way it should have been said, then it would play over and over and over and over and over for like hours on end, and I would be so stressed out and anxious and panicked and how can I fix this and how do I say it the right way and when can I get a moment to tell them this is what I meant. Okay, I still go through that to a very small degree. I don't go through it the way that I used to. And like I said, I think the moment that changed was when I thought I was going to die and my kids were going to be here with nobody. I mean, I know that they would have you guys, but you guys wouldn't do for them what I do for them. As far as, I know you guys say that I baby them. I don't think I baby them, but I am, I am overly understanding because there wasn't anybody around to understand me when I needed it. I was behind bars, and I had people. Don't get me wrong, I had people. Like, I had some of the best people in my life during that time. They're still in my life to this day, and that was, I got out in 99. That was 26 years ago. But anyway, so I had people there for me, but I forgot where the hell I was at.
Anxious attachment.
Okay, and the obsessive thinking. Okay, but it wasn't until I thought that I was going to die and leave my kids here alone that I finally realized that I have no control. Like, the things that we think we control, we do not control. So, like, it doesn't matter whether or not I said something perfectly.
Well, and that's what I've been working on. Like, I don't go back and correct. I don't. Now I do reread messages from like 3 hours ago, and I analyze and I'm.
Yeah.
But like, you gotta understand, analyzing and thinking.
Those are the exact same thing.
Like the overthinking. No, well, there is some differences. Like, those were defense mechanisms, part of my survival mode, and I'm trying to get out of that survival mode, out of that overthinking, out of that analyzing, and just learning to be. And that's what a lot of my reading and my videos and stuff I'm watching now is teaching me how to get out of that. So like I went off the rails a few weeks ago, but I pulled it right back in and.
Right. Well, and that's great because you're learning and you're growing. That's great. I mean, and you and I are not going to grow in the same ways.
And
you
it
and I
helps
are
to
not
have
going to deal with things the same
have
way.
an understanding partner too. You're like, okay, I understand that you're probably not going to be perfect all the time.
Right. However, it also helps to have a supportive partner.
I'm trying. I don't see anybody knocking down my door, so. I'm in trouble right now.
Just a little. Anyways. My brother is a great guy. Anybody who does not appreciate him doesn't deserve him. Period.
But I'm also not perfect.
No, you're not.
I do have issues.
Yes, he does.
I have some rough days.
He's a pain in the ass.
I don't know if I'm a pain in the ass. I got some rough moody days, and I get stuck in my head sometimes.
Okay, but we all do. That doesn't mean we're unlovable. It means we're human.
I'm not saying I'm unlovable. It
means we're human.
But
we have emotions.
Like, people have to be patient with me sometimes, and it might be too much to ask.
Oh my God! Seriously?
Like, the right one, of course, will be patient.
Exactly.
I understand that. But I can't go around requiring people to be patient with me because I have issues about my own shit. That's not their shit.
Okay, if the shoe was on the other foot, do you think you would be able to be patient with somebody?
Of course, I am patient with people. I'm trying like hell to be patient.
Okay,
and I'm not a very patient person.
Okay, neither am I.
But my feelings and my emotions allow me to go above and beyond my normal limits.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Maybe we'll cut all that out too.
No, we're not cutting it out. Nope. My son is the editor.
Oh Lord, you get both. You should have seen us earlier. I went and got a microphone. It took, how many does it take to
plug in a microphone?
We definitely need her son, and that's really what's been holding us up, is because we're both technology challenged. Like,
yeah, neither one of us know.
You know what I mean? Like, we got the story for days, we got all the insights and stuff, but we cannot turn on a damn microphone.
Nope.
So,
yeah, it's bad.
Probably need a third person.
Or a 4 or 5.
Poor Kendra's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, my son.
Poor Kendra.
Oh.
So I don't know. Hopefully we've done some good, but it's getting her back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll keep going with her story.
Yeah.
And it will get us.
That was not like a cry tear. That was just an eye water tear.
Hopefully, so we'll get better at this thing.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start up a channel and see if we can start kind of at least doing a little bit of good and help some people get through some shit.
Yeah. I heard, I have always said that the reason why I'm so, what's the word?
Empathetic.
Well, I am that, but the reason why I'm so gung-ho about sharing my story is if there's one person that's helped by it, then it's worth it. I heard somebody else say that the other day. I'd never heard anybody else say it.
I've heard that my whole life.
Have
Because
you?
I have this whole people, I feel like I'm supposed to make a big difference. I felt like it my whole life.
Yeah.
I felt my whole life like I'm supposed to help a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And that's why I went through so freaking much over and over and over again. Yep. And then somebody comes to me and says, well, if you help one person, and I feel like they're trying to take my dream from me.
No.
Like they're trying to diminish my dream. Like they're making me small, and it's like I feel it in me that it's more than one. You know what I mean? But I have heard people go around saying, because they tell me all the time, if you help one, then it's all worth it.
Right.
And I get that.
Right.
It's just not. It's more than that.
I mean, it could be, hell, it could be thousands, could be hundreds, could be tens.
And I'm not saying it has to be thousands.
Right. But
I'm just saying I
even
feel
if
like
it's that one, that one person is worth every bit of the effort.
Yeah, because who knows who they're going to go help.
Exactly.
They might
See,
be the
that's
person
the
that helps
thing.
10,000.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I absolutely get it.
Yeah.
I just feel in my heart of hearts that I'm supposed to do more than that. I can't stop at one. Like I have so many ideas for filling in the gaps and the holes that I experienced. Most of my group home experiences were if you were good, you were invisible, and that's all they cared about. They just wanted you to behave. They didn't care what you did. They didn't care about you personally, as long as you weren't making their day rough. And I'm not okay with that. I want to help these kids get back where they should be, and to dream, and to get back on track, so that when they get out of the system, like they can be that much farther than I was,
Yeah.
and get farther, and then turn around and help somebody get there faster than I did. So we don't even know if the battery's still on.
Microphone's on.
Oh. Aren't you a geek? We know which one's better than the other one.
That was up on the Mac. Microphone's on. The phone has to be on.
All right.
We don't know if it's recording, but
Well, wouldn't that be some shit? We get up there and they have been recording.
talking for 2 freaking hours and nothing on the phone.
Oh. So anyway, also, I guess since you got followers and stuff, anybody that has a story that wouldn't mind being interviewed when we're getting started out and stuff, like,
or wants to send me a video message, and shit, we'll put it up.
yeah. So let us know if you got an experience to share, and some healing or some hopeful words, a message, and maybe you can be in one of our first episodes. So absolutely.
Well, yeah, that's a good idea.
That's
send
what
me
I'm
a
talking
video.
Well, and you can even send a brief video of like,
Yeah.
this is my story, and this is what I have to share or add or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that way we can figure out, like, we can get some people to go ahead and start doing some stuff.
I mean, we want to build a community.
Absolutely.
This is not like we just want to be like running something. No, we want to build something.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, exactly.
And names. I am dying trying to come up with names for this thing.
Oh yeah.
So maybe somebody out there in YouTube land can
help us come up with a name for.
Although for my personality or my persona, I want to be known as the Crying Viking. The Crying Viking is awesome.
God.
Because look, I'm working on my Viking, right? And I got Viking in here. But look, Crying Viking symbolizes both the warrior and the pain. Well, I put a lot of thought into that. You see how I'm treated? Ain't no wonder I got self-esteem.
It's a good name.
The Crying Viking.
You should have warned me before you said that.
This is what you can expect out of us. Maybe you'll at least, hey,
Oh my
we might not be
God.
able to tell you how to heal, but we can crack you up for a little bit and make you forget about it.
Oh my God, I can't. You just threw that right out there.
The Crying Viking.
Warning, warning.
All right, warning. The Crying Viking. You can address me as Mr. Crying Viking. How about that? Or DJ. Well, I guess you gotta earn DJ.
They can't call you DJ.
You gotta earn DJ. There's only one person who's gonna get to use DJ. So
That's actually a good name, but it just the way it caught me, like.
hopefully, I'm the one that comes up with your name.
My name's Tish. Says so right on the channel.
Right.
Like everything Viking, you will never see a Viking crying.
It symbolizes both.
Oh my God.
I don't care what she said. Crying Viking coming to you in YouTube land. Crying Viking.
I love you. I want only my brother.
Thank y'all.
Have a good one.
Crazy ass.